I mean, I heard someone tell me that somebody's taking my brains. It's possible that people do all kinds of weird things, but whatever it is that's yours is yours. Somebody can't take my nose unless they force me, put me in a certain situation, cut the nose and you take it. But whatever you are, your natural state you are, is still you. It hasn't changed. If spiritually things are being changing into your life, fine. Let it be as it's a change. Let the changes go on in whatever state it might be in. But personally, you are what you are. You are still the very person that you are meant to be. The natural state of what you are, what you were born to be. You're a human being. You are there. That's all that matters. You haven't lost that. You lost that by accident. Maybe you got accident, you got caught, you got hurt, you got breaking your bones or something. Things that have direct impact on you. Your spiritual things may have impact on you. It's only you have allowed that to happen. Because whatever it is, if you give your soul out to something, then it will have impact on you. That's what I say. If you give your heart to something, it have impact on you. You have some serious impact on your physical being, on your natural being that you are. So in this sense, if Laban, they took your images away, you can build another image, another carved image. But he followed it. The image was even made by your own hands. You got it. Why do you follow your daughter to get there? But anyway, that's what happened. And if we go on to 32, we are having Jacob pursues to meet Esau. Now he has to meet his brother Jacob, his own thing that he did long ago through his mother is hitting him back. He had to now meet his big brother, convince him, and his fear that his father is dead. The man who was standing in the way of Esau, paying back his debt or trying to beat his brother or do something to his brother, because he had to wait for his father to die and pursue Jacob. But when he saw Jacob, I think the story says when he saw Jacob with all his family and all the items that Jacob was even giving to him, his goats, his flocks and all that, changed his mind and realized that no, his brother has really been blessed by God, and he as a man, there's nothing he can do. And he accepted the fact that, that's what happened. If you read through the storyline, at some point, Jacob then sees God in the process of trying to meet his brother. They let all his family to go and left him alone behind. He crossed somewhere and went to some secluded area of a bush or grass and all that. He met a man. He didn't know who the man was, but his instinct tells him that the man was God. If you read Genesis 32, I think we've pointed out 24, and Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip bone, and socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled with him. His hip bone was out of joint, so Jacob began to limp. But still, Jacob did not let go. He held on this man, and he asked the man to bless him, and the man called him Israel. And Jacob named the place. If you go down to 32 verse 80, Genesis 32 verse 30, it says, so Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And I've seen God face to face. If you compare that to John 1 verse 18, nobody can see God. But here we have Jacob, blessed enough to see God. With all his polygamy and all his fornication and adultery that has gone on in his life, accidentally and intentionally, he sees God. He's not defiled, or he's not God. He sees God. God still loved him. Now Jacob and Esau make peace. So Jacob ended up, seeing his brother at the end of it, and they made peace on each other. And Esau forgot about everything. He didn't really pursue to hurt his brother. But Jacob also did not choose to settle that with him, but went his way, because that's how things might be. Now, when we go to 34, that's what I want to point out again. It said Daniel's brother did And denies what Dinah's brother did. Dinah is one of the daughters of Jacob at that time. You know, apart from the 12 sons that he got, he had daughters too. And the daughter Dinah ended up having, as they settled in an unknown land with other strangers there, one of those guys, the king of the place, the king, that's the prince, the king's son, the prince, got interested in Dinah, which is Dinah is a very beautiful girl, and wanted to be with Dinah. And in that sense, he slept with Dinah, you know. And the brothers to Dinah find out, that's Jacob's sons, find out that, hey, this is what you've done to our brother, our sister. It's an abomination. You are an outsider. How do you sleep with our daughter? You have not even circumcised. How do you sleep with our sister? You know, our sister is not that kind of. And so they decided to plot against these people. But the king himself came down to Jacob and asked Jacob that, hey, my son is interested in your daughter. He's dying for your daughter. Give your daughter to my son and let us marry each other. Marry our daughters and we'll marry your daughters. You know, let us blend together and become one family. So we give you a place to live and give you whatever you want. This is our place. We will sort of embrace you. But Jacob had to find ways, and they suggested that we can't do that. It's an abomination for us. You people, if we have to do that, you guys have to circumcise yourself and denounce yourself and become like us. You know, accept our way of life. Then we can part of you and you can marry us and we'll marry you. And they agreed, because the king loved his son so much that he wants to give his son anything his sons want. And so here he is. And he agreed that, okay, then the whole town, every man will have to circumcise. So they got circumcised. And in the moment of that circumcision, they were in pain. Because when you circumcise old people, they are old already, and now they are circumcising themselves. They are bleeding and all that. And they are old. So they now, whether they were soldiers or everybody got circumcised, so they were in pain. So Jacob's children wait at night when they were in pain, thinking about themselves. They can't carry a sword, they can't do anything. They attacked them and slaughtered them. You know how wicked they did, just because an outsider has slept with their sister without asking permission or without anything. You know, they slaughtered them. These 12 guys. That's not all of them, but I think some of the brothers did that. You know, and Jacob was shocked. I mean, it's something they did in honor of what their sister had to, go through. They sort of believed that it was a reproach. That's the word being used in Genesis 34:14. And they said to them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. Bring a curse to us. We don't like that. And so they agreed, but the consequences that came after what they believed was that so as they decided to plan that, they kill these guys, they kill all the men of the city. I mean, you can imagine. Now it came to pass the third day when they were in pain. 3 days we get very, it became very painful. I don't go through circumcision when I'm old. It's done when you're a baby, so that's fine. You get off the pain very much at this stage of your life. But I can imagine being old enough and going to circumcise. That it's the 3 days time they were in pain. And 2 of the sons of Jacob, Simon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon it. 2 of the children. It's not even all the 12, just 2. Kill all the men of the place. And all the wealth, all their little ones and their wives, they took captive. And they plundered even all that was in the house. Then Jacob said to Simon and Levi, you have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land. among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me